Hi,
Kayla.
Hi,
Hi.
Kayla.
Hi, I'm trying to see if this'll Bluetooth's not on. That's
You're like one
Those
of
okay.
us.
pesky earbuds.
Yeah.
I was
They,
gonna say you fit
it's
right in at the table.
Yeah,
Mhm.
welcome to the table.
You're always
Thank
messing.
you,
It's our
guys.
hazing to make earbuds malfunction.
Well, mine are always malfunctioning. You know, I'm on the phone and I put them on and they don't automatically click
They don't
over. It's
connect.
always a hassle.
Yeah, I know.
Every time.
We've
And
got
if you
things to
walk too
say to
far
that.
away, people can't hear you. It's terrible.
Apple.
I
But
thought it
that's
was
yeah.
Jen. I thought it was just Jen.
not it was just me. Thank you, Kayla.
Hello and welcome to Table for Five with no reservations. Take a seat at the table for a fresh, sweet, salty, tart, and pleasantly bitter conversation. Thank you for taking a seat at the table. This is the first episode of our travel series, and we're very excited. We have a special guest with us tonight. At the table, I have Tabitha,
Hello.
Kim,
Hi.
Jen,
Hi, everyone.
Rachel,
Hey, everybody.
and I'm Jamie. And tonight we have Kayla Castro with us, and she is a travel agent, super awesome, and fits in perfectly with this series. And what makes her extra special is that she has a child with autism, just like us, and she specializes in travel for families that have a family member who has a disability or higher needs. So we're really excited to have her tonight. Thank you for being here, Kayla.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yay. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you started doing what you do?
Yeah, so I live in Orlando, Florida. I actually grew up in Southern California. I worked at Disneyland for quite a while. Met my husband. We have two boys. My oldest son, Tristan, is 12 and he is autistic. And then I have a younger one, Ethan, he's 8. And yeah, so we moved to Orlando. And while I was here, I don't know what it was. Everyone just got so intrigued with our lifestyle here in Florida. I guess it's different than what people expected it to be. And we were going to Disney all the time and kind of sharing our experiences. And people reached out and they were just like, oh my gosh, how are you able to take your son? Like, you know, he's autistic. How does he do in the theme parks? And people were just genuinely curious. And so I became a travel agent and I just wanted to share all of the tips and the resources and the knowledge that I've learned over the years for other families just to help them feel confident to travel. And it doesn't necessarily have to be to the theme parks. It could be something, you know, like a little, you know, staycation in your town or your state. There's certified autism centers all over the country, from zoos and museums and parks and all of that, that you don't necessarily have to go to a theme park. And so I just started planning vacations, and more through social media, people just kind of found me, and we kind of just started growing this community of people who love to travel but had a special needs family. And I've just been genuinely trying to just give as many resources as possible so families just feel more confident, you know, getting out of the house and doing more tasks than going to the grocery store, which I know is always so scary too. And then to think to actually travel. So yeah,
It's
that's
so
kind
cool
of
to
how it started.
experience, like feel like you can be brave enough to experience because you've got someone helping you plan it so you feel supported, you know?
Yeah, I really try to either be as involved or not as involved as people would like, because I do have families come to me that are like, we just want your knowledge, but we want to take care of the other stuff, you know, or I have people who want me to be a part of every single process. And so I personally love the clients that like to have their hand held because it's just more fun for me. But yeah, no, it's always so fun. I think my favorite part about it truly is just meeting all the families. You know, my clients have turned into friends. I have one client who turned into a friend who's actually moving to Orlando now from Idaho,
Yeah.
which is crazy. It's crazy, you know, like because you really do get to know these families and establish relationships with them. And it just makes the job even better.
I love that. Do you want to explain a little bit? I know like a lot of our listeners probably don't get to travel very often, what exactly, just what a travel agent does, and why hiring someone like you is more beneficial than trying to do it all yourself, even though you can do everything online these days, the benefits of having a travel agent.
Yeah. So a lot of people come to me for Disney specifically. I mean, I can book travel, all inclusives, like certified autism centers, like beaches, resorts, cruises, all of the things. But it just so happens that people come to me for Disney. I love Disney and know it like the back of my hand. So specifically, if we were talking about a Disney vacation, something that I do is I help you find out which hotel you want to stay at. Not all hotels are created equally. Sometimes you want more of like a budget friendly option, but you don't want it to be so loud. So then you need to do the research to find out which resort is good for you, and then what room category you could possibly need. And then you go on to tickets. How many days do you want to stay there? How many days do you want to take a break and do something else in the area? Something that I help my clients with is booking the hotel, booking the tickets, doing all that research for them and presenting it to them so they can figure out what they would like to do, presenting any kind of restaurants that they might like. Sometimes we have picky eaters or we have allergies and stuff like that. So I do the research and send you restaurants and stuff. That way, where you can take your child to eat and know ahead of time what options there are. That way you're not frantic and trying to pick. Transportation arrangements, that goes into play too. And then something that I also provide for my clients is I provide visual guides. So I have interactive visual guides to all 4 parks at Walt Disney World and both parks at Disneyland. So I have visual guides that say first, next, and then with the Velcro, and they can put it on there for a ride that they want to go on, or a certain snack that they want, or the bathroom, or the baby care center, or a quiet resting spot that they want. So I provide those. I also provide social stories. And then something else that I provide is stock photos for AAC devices. So, if they don't want that interactive guide, if they don't want that interactive guide, then they can, get those stock photos for the AAC devices. And so, a lot of people can do this on their own, but why would you want to? It's just so much research. I am a very detail oriented person. My husband probably hates it sometimes, but in this sense, it's my job and it's what I absolutely love to do. So I love to focus on all the research and worry. I'm a really good worrier too. I worry really good. So if
you
I
fit in
can
here, we're great worriers too.
Once again, welcome to the table.
Yeah, we really
I
are.
like that yours translates to somebody else's savvy experience, though. Like, what a great way to apply your particulars and your skill set. That's great. I would much rather navigate Disney not sweating and fretting because somebody has shown me the way. I mean, I'm sure you can't stop the sweat, let's be clear, but if the AAC
yes.
Go in January. Yes. Go in January.
Oh, yes.
Right.
It's just so much fun. And I love to take the worry and the stress off of people so they could essentially just focus on the magic and focus on their families and making those memories that they didn't think that they were going to make. I had somebody message me today on Instagram and she said, "Oh my God, I just found your page and I absolutely love you already. I never even in a million years thought that traveling to Disney would be on the table for us." But that's just because she didn't have those resources in hand. And it's really important to have the research and the resources and the knowledge. Disney has resources for guests with special needs, but they don't necessarily advertise that, so how would you know that? And so it's somebody like me that comes in and is like, hey, you have all these resources, all these accommodations for you that you can implement into your vacation to maximize your experience. And who wouldn't want to do that? And so that is everything that I do. I literally book everything. I book the transportation from the airport to your resort, your tickets. I prep you and give you all of my knowledge on the resources and accommodations and help you out with the dining process. And, now they have new new things called Genie Plus and Lightning Lanes and all of that. And it's chaotic. And, so it's just all of those little details that really, really will make or break your vacation. And it's nice to just have somebody on your side. And, I think of us too, like I'm an autism mom, I'm an advocate. Imagine having a powerhouse advocate of a special needs, child be your advocate for travel to the destination that you're going to. You want somebody on your side to help you along the way.
I love that. And I know you don't just do Disney, but we go to Disney a lot. My sister works for Disney World. And then my other sister who lives in Colorado with me, she's like an expert. She goes way too often. I make fun of her, but she's that helper, but she doesn't know a lot, like the DAS pass and all stuff I had to figure out on my own. But let me tell you, people out there, even if you have a typical family, Disney World is so complicated now. You cannot just show up like in the old days.
Yes,
you need someone to guide you. That's why I have to rely on my sister. So you need someone to help you, because it's we just had a friend of ours recently go who has a son with special needs. And she's like, I am literally exhausted from planning this trip. I'm like, yeah, it's not simple at all.
It's not. And I know that I keep coming back to Disney because Disney is my jam. It's my thing. It's what people most know me for. But, there are other places like the beaches resorts that are, advanced certified autism centers. And even those kind of places, you just need the research. You need to know about the kids clubs. You need to know that the staff has over 40 hours of training to work with guests with special needs. And,
Kayla, can you tell us what advanced autism center means versus the other? Is that those hours?
Yeah, so it's the hours. So there's the certified autism centers and then the advanced certified autism centers with the IBCCES, which is what I'm actually certified with too. I'm technically a certified autism travel professional with them as well. And so they are fantastic. And so what they do is they go to these places and they make sure that I was going to say cast members, they're not cast members. The staff is, certified in taking care of guests with special needs and, having these clubs. And with beaches, you can go as far as talking to their special resources team before you get there, or technically I do it for you. And we talk about all of the dietary needs and, even going down to using specific cleaning products if there's a sensory to smells. I think it was today they launched, or yesterday they launched their new sensory guides for beaches resorts on scales 1 to 10. So guests can get an idea of that too. So, the advanced certified centers really just take it up a notch with the training that they have their staff members go through and all of the things that they offer at their centers. It's just absolutely amazing.
I was going to say, we're going to Disney. I'm going to contact you because we're going soonish. So
okay.
I'll contact you.
Yeah, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. It's my jam. We go every Wednesday or Friday night, just depending. And here in Florida on Wednesdays, the kids get out an hour early. So Wednesdays are nice because they get out at 2 and we're like, all right, let's just go to the parks and relax and have a good time.
Kayla, what do your license plates say?
Nothing.
And they don't?
No, it's not Disney.
My sister's is, not my Orlando sister. My Colorado sister's is, I don't know if I should say her license plate here.
Yeah. It might be dangerous.
It definitely has the word Disney in it. So
if I could have it say making magic accessible for all, then I totally would. But
we need more letters. We need more letters.
We might need a car wrap instead of a license plate. Yeah, let's do that. The van wrap.
I know. We just love it. It's just so much fun and we have a good time.
I was just wondering about tips for preparing for travel. Basic tips for people.
Oh yeah. So I recently just did a post on my Instagram and I wrote a blog about it. The 8 things, I think it was 7 or 8 things that we do to prepare, Tristan specifically for travel. The first thing is that, we front load him. So we sit him down and we talk to him about what we are going to do, where we are going, what he can expect of us, but then also what we expect of him if things were to go wrong, like if we were to get a flat tire or if we were to get a delayed flight, something like that. Anything that we can do to front load him and prepare him that this is what's going to happen and things might go wrong. We let him watch YouTube videos about the places that we're going to. YouTube is an awesome place for visuals. That way he can learn the surroundings, he can learn the auditory, he can hear if it's loud or not. YouTube is amazing for that. We give him maps of the places that we're going to, or like I said, I create those visual guides or those social stories, but he's a really big map reader. He loves maps. So maps are huge for him. So we have him bring fidgets. I ask him about the foods that he wants to eat. That way I'm prepared for that. We look into options at the airport. So like TSA Cares, 72 hours before you travel, you want to make sure that you call TSA Cares and you can get a support service member to help meet you at the entrance and then take you through a special security area that will help children or even adults with special needs get through TSA in a more private and quieter setting. Calling the airline before we travel to let them know that you are traveling with someone with special needs so they can help you with priority boarding, just getting on that plane in a quieter setting. And then also it alerts them to let them know that you're traveling with someone with special needs so they can further assist you. And we let him bring something from home. That's huge because he just feels more comfortable when he has something with him. So having him bring something from home. It's usually like some kind of teddy. And then the biggest thing that we do is we actually let him be involved in a part of the planning process for vacations. So if he is able to sit there and plan out what he wants to do, then it's easier for him and other children, if they're picking something that they physically want to do and that they're interested in, then it's easier for them to transition and do those things when you're there, because then you can say, okay, what did you write down next? What did you want to see? And those transitions come a little bit easier because it's something that they helped you plan. It's something that they're excited about.
This sounds so much better than the chase a Hellcat through a park that I've done. I'm like a first then in a park. This is amazing.
Oh my goodness.
So Kayla, what would you say are usually the parents biggest concerns when they come to you, their biggest worries about traveling? Because we have several friends that they don't even attempt it because it seems so out there to take their kid out of their little bubble.
Yeah. So a lot of the parents that come to me, they're terrified of flying, being on an airplane for so long. It's not necessarily the process of getting on the airplane, but then what to do when you're on the airplane. Parents are, and this is something I am always, nervous about too, is the meltdowns, the meltdowns and
plane during a meltdown.
Yeah, that too. Oh yeah. And it's hard to say that other people looking and making faces and stuff like that doesn't bother you. There's people like, it doesn't bother me. And for me, I say that too, but inside, it's just you can just feel it and you can feel yourself getting hot and red. And then eloping is really scary too, so those are the three biggest fears that people usually come to me with. And so that's when we just talk about things that their child might like that they want to do on the airplane. A lot of people end up bringing the iPads and that kind of thing. So they have those videos and movies or games or something like that the child can play with on the plane. A lot of people like to take the red-eye flight. That way their child might sleep. If they're a good sleeper, then they might sleep the whole time they're on the plane. We talk about eloping and kind of go with that, if they're coming to Disney, I keep coming back to Disney, but if they come to Disney, having a magic band on, the magic bands, you do have to pay a little bit extra for that. But for kids, if they have a magic band on and, you can get little to make sure that they stay on. For some reason, if your child were to get lost, like a cast member just has to scan that and all of your information comes up when they scan that, you know? And so like a lot of people don't know about that. And the sunflower lanyards, you know, that are like an unspoken way of telling people that you have special needs. Some of them have little cards that say, you know, I am nonverbal, you know, so just throwing in little tidbits, you know, of what I think might help, or resources that I found, or, you know, things that have helped my clients. My clients are also amazing people to learn from too, because their obstacle might not be my obstacle and my obstacle might not be theirs. And so I learn a lot from my clients too. And I love to share that knowledge with everyone. If you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. And so you're learning from everyone in this community and in this space, and just taking tidbits from them to really help them feel confident and comfortable. And then the meltdowns, I mean, the meltdowns are hard because it's just, you could do all the right things and it still happens. And, you know, for me, what I like to do for my clients is, you know, I have guides that I send my clients depending on the destination that they're going to. I have a guide just for quiet resting spots. So they have that in their email so they can, you know, look in their email, see what spot is closest to them.
Is there a husband section for those quiet spaces? Husband decompression section.
or you just take that guide and you do it, and you don't share the guide with your husband. So they have no idea where you're going.
Deep breaths in here, baby.
Yeah. So, you know, I have those guides. So my clients can go to these quiet resting spots and just kind of decompress and self-regulate and just simmer. There are so many tips and things that you can do, but sometimes, I mean, that's the biggest thing with special needs travel, is to have realistic expectations. No matter how much you prep for your vacation, no matter how much knowledge and tips and resources you have, you know your child best. You know what may or may not happen. And just because you are in this magical bubble of vacation, and it doesn't mean that everything is going to go perfectly. So we just have to set those realistic expectations and just kind of roll with the punches. And it might suck, but that's our life, you know, and I just don't want that to detour me from not doing what we love, which is travel. You know what I mean? I think it's really important that we expose our children to the world, but most importantly, we expose the world to our children, because then comes the inclusion and, you know, the acceptance and all of that. And I think a lot of businesses and brands are starting to see that. So they want to be certified autism centers. They want to show that, you know, they can help families with special needs just, you know, have a magical time no matter where they go.
Yeah, I took my daughter to San Diego last summer, and we went to Sesame Place, which is a certified autism center. And there's definitely a difference in going there. And they had just opened, so maybe they were still fresh and crisp and not beaten down by millions of kids a day and crazy parents. But they were lovely to interact with. It was very smooth getting in. It was, the characters seemed to kind of understand the layout of it all. It was great. And I think they said they had some pretty extensive training. So it's great to know that those places are to contact someone like yourself. Of course, contact you and, you know, learn about these places that even across the country, if you want to go on a staycation or, you know, areas that offer that stuff. I didn't know about the beaches. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, they were actually the first ones to become like a large certified autism center back in 2017, I believe it was. So they're really one of the first in the leading industry. And I don't know if you guys know Carrie Cariello, the author.
We love Carrie Cariello.
Yes. So she's a friend of mine. She's the sweetest lady ever. And I talked to her and we were talking about beaches, and they used to take Jack all the time. And we were just going over, you know, how absolutely amazing they were and just fantastic. They are fantastic people.
Yeah. When I always think too, like with my kids, I try to take them out as much as possible. I mean, by myself is hard with the two of them sometimes, but it could go terrible, but it also could go great. And so you don't know like which side of the fence you're going to land on until you actually try it and get out there. And then you try
Right.
something and you're like, oh no, that wasn't for us at all. That we're not doing that again. But
Yeah.
I've also tried things and I've been like, that was great. These kids
Yeah.
loved it. I loved it. We were out. We were because my son loves to travel. He is great at it, loves to fly. My daughter has a lot more sensory needs and a lot less sitting, and lots of people are triggering for her. But in June we flew and they both did great, and we did a lot of things to prepare, and we used every tool in the toolbox to get through that travel experience, day of traveling. But it was fine and we made it to where we were going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you never know. I really think that if you stick around home, which might be just what you do as a family, if travel doesn't work for you, but if you try it, it might be something that you realize you can end up doing with your kids. And then
Well,
you're on
and
the
you
beach.
learn.
Yeah.
You know, like you learn by like you do it and then you're like, okay, this was not a good idea. Like this didn't work. Next time we'll know. Like we made the mistake of we stayed at the Disney resort. My daughter danced at Disney, so she is part of a performance package. And then we
Okay.
stayed at an Airbnb for 5 days. So she did not like when we made that switch. Like she did not like it at all. Like it just was not good. So like now I'm like, okay, like we probably won't, even though it was a great way to save money, like and extend our vacation and then like have more room and all that stuff. She did not like it, just didn't make sense to her. Like she's like, we were here, I like it here.
Yeah.
Like
And
we
now
stayed
you're
at
taking
that
me
resort.
away.
Well, so we stayed at the Port Orleans resort, you know what I mean? And then we went to an Airbnb that was like kind of outside Orlando, and it sort of looked like an apartment complex. So when I took a step back and like viewed the situation, I was like, okay, I can she's like, why are we going to like some random apartment now? Like we were just at a resort. It was bigger and it was like a full kitchen, a private pool. Like it had more things for us as a family of 5, but she
It's
did
the
not like
switcheroo.
that. Transition was really hard on her, which then was really hard on everybody. I don't know, you just do things and then you're like, okay, like this worked, this didn't work. But I think it's like Tabitha said, you have to get out there and try.
My son has a meltdown every time. I mean, luckily only really once on a plane, but and I always joke it's Animal Kingdom for some reason. I think we usually start with Animal Kingdom twice. There's been screaming fits in Animal Kingdom, and then he just freaks out. And I think it's the anticipation of the trip, and it's finally being there. Like, not like he's unhappy, but he's just so overwhelmed. And so I've had to get to the place, not just Disney, I don't keep talking about Disney, but like where it's like, okay, we're gonna have to go through this, get it out, and now we can enjoy ourselves. So like, I mean, it's just like a process, and sometimes you kind of have to like get through the bumpy parts, but there's parts you enjoy as well.
Well, that happens with Neil too. That happens also with my husband.
That's what I'm saying.
Mine too.
Kayla's got this multifaceted family approach.
We went to Animal Kingdom. Our trip was in the end of June, and like the heat index was like 11. It was
It's awful. It is. I live here and I still don't get used to it.
No. Well, I mean, Disney in June, it's busy, it's hot, it's crowded. Like there's just no
it's still
no
there's no getting away from it.
In the performance package, so we have to go when the performance is. It's not like we have the luxury to be like
open availability.
Yes, that week in between, right before the 4th of July, so it's like literally the busiest time you can go. My husband was having meltdowns. Forget Alyssa was fine. My daughter was fine. She was like, okay, next ride. My husband, no, he not so much.
I love that.
Next time you go, Neil will have the Velcro Kayla stamps where he says, first Alyssa does these things, then Neil gets a Diet Coke. First.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to make specific Neil, stickers for it.
Here's your quiet sitting spot, Neil.
His will be like, I stay at the hotel. You guys go do what you want.
Yeah.
We're giving him a different quiet spots guide.
Yeah, he gets a different package. Kayla, do you deal with equipment of any kind? Like my thought is always like, are you kidding? We're traveling with a 22-pound weighted blanket. or all of the
Yeah.
stuff that we may or may not have? Do you have connections to resources like that in different places?
Yeah, so I am certified with the special needs groups who specifically helps with like oxygen tanks and ATVs and wheelchairs and all
Cool.
of that if they need that. What's also really nice too is that if you decide to work with certain companies like beaches or with Carnival, they actually provide some of that sensory stuff for you. So like Carnival Cruise Line has something that they partner with called Culture City. So if you are doing like a cruise with them, then they provide like a sensory bag for you with like fidgets and the
Cool.
noise canceling headphones and, you know, all of that kind of stuff.
Sensory swing in the
Usually-
cruise stateroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Hear that, Carnival?
You know what I love that you said you do, and you said in the beginning is about the restaurants, because for me, I'd be like, okay, Kayla, I need a McDonald's looking French fry. Any restaurant needs to have a McDonald's looking, because that's hard sometimes. Like you said, the panic of where you're going to eat. And for my daughter, it's a French fry. So she doesn't eat any French fry.
Hey,
The
me and your
right brand of
daughter,
apple juice, all the things.
Right? Yeah.
French fries
That's
are my
great.
jam. French fries are my jam. So literally ask me about any French fry. That was the perfect thing to bring up because French fries.
How do you
are
do
my
with
thing.
nacho cheese? You good with queso?
the nacho cheese French fries from Taco Bell. Let me tell you, when those things come back, ooh, those things are so good. I will just go to Taco Bell.
I don't want to brag, but we have them all the time in Canada. And you can fry supreme them. You can fry supreme them.
Oh my
Sour
gosh.
cream, guacamole.
I would
I'm
love
not
some of
telling
that
my
right
husband
now.
he's gonna want to move to Canada just for that.
Rough pivot. Sorry, guys.
I know you've mentioned a few places, but what would you say are the best places to travel if you have a kiddo with a disability or on a spectrum? What are the friendliest places? I know you mentioned beaches and Disney, but what else is there?
Cruises. Honestly, I have been cruising and I wholeheartedly feel like if you're not going to a certified autism center, whether it's a local one, like a zoo or a museum near you, or the beach is all inclusive, you're not a theme park person. Cruises are amazing. They have autism on the seas, which I am going to admit I'm still genuinely like deep dive learning about because I was not a travel agent before COVID. I became a travel agent after COVID, and autism on the seas wasn't really, you know, they weren't doing anything because of COVID.
Those
so
ships
they
were anchored.
Yes, they sure
Yes.
were. And so they really weren't doing anything. And so now that they're starting to pick back up, I'm really starting to deep dive and learn more about them. But cruises, there's so much to do on a cruise, but not in an overstimulating way.
And you're like within 1,000 feet from a stateroom or an elevator to get to the
That's
hallway
the
to your
thing.
room.
Yeah.
Right.
I
I
think that's
love
amazing.
cruising. My daughter was 3 and 4 when we cruised with Disney, and she is a certain brand of Hellcat. I'm going to tell you, we've got a lot going on, and she requires fences when you're on land. And so I was naturally very, very nervous. Like, we booked the balcony room. I'll tell you what, if I could install that same door in my patio, I would. There's no getting through that. Like, it was the safest we've ever felt as a family traveling. And I mean, the ratio there, that's a dreamboat.
Right. And it is. And there's, like I said, the activities, there's so much to do, but it's not overstimulating. You're on the ocean. It is very calming. The pools and the water slides and the Broadway shows and the dining experiences that, you know, specifically with Disney, you know, you have the same waiter and waitress your entire time you're on the ship. So, you know, they really get to know you and your family and your needs.
Catch up in the right spot on that plate, man.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yes, always. They have your drinks waiting for you when you come in. But with any cruise line, really, it just, that stateroom is super close if you ever need it. And each cruise line has their own special needs team, you know, that you can call and let them know ahead of time. They have different resources in place if your child cannot do, you know, the muster drill, which is really difficult. It's really difficult for Tristan, you know,
What is it?
and The muster drill. So
Oh.
the muster drill is rough. It is rough. I'm not going to lie. So it's where everybody meets on the ship in a designated area to go over precautions if there was ever an emergency. So they teach you how to put on the life jackets, and they teach you where the lifeboats are and all of
And
that.
they
But
full volume blast the GD horns like we
Oh
are
my gosh, that sounds
capsizing.
horrifying.
And if
Mhm.
you have a
Yep.
Atlanta girl, she screamed
Mhm.
back at those air horns like,
That does not sound good at all.
and then it was like she needed a curse whistle. F
Oh.
off, Mickey.
How does the Wi-Fi work on a cruise?
Oh,
Barely.
Thanks. Thanks. I mean, you could purchase the package. So like if you're close to land, like, so I went on 3 Disney cruises in the last like 9 months.
Get it, girl.
I
Thanks.
love Disney cruises, but
Yeah.
Disney again. So what's best is not to buy their package. What you do, like if you have Verizon, you call Verizon, you get something called a travel pass. And so when you get to the other countries, you can start using your phone, and it's only like $10 for the day or something like that. And it's easy and it's great, but when you're out at sea, you can't use it. And even if you try to buy a Wi-Fi package, it just doesn't, it's not worth it.
But Kimmy, they all have like different. So like the Disney cruise has its own phone system. When Sealy was in the center, like the kids zone, then
The
we
kids
would
club.
go like out around the ship and just have some Rachy Billy time finally. And we'd carry this phone and they could call us like, oh, she took somebody out, or oh, we need to fill in the blank or whatever.
Well, you know how our kids are if they don't have Wi-Fi. Well, my kid is not a happy camper if she doesn't have Wi-Fi.
Well,
and she like doesn't understand to like.
You have access to
Yeah.
their app too, so that has like a
Mhm.
truckload of all the things on it. So you can be
Mhm.
in the room watching some old Popeye or some brand, Cinderella. It's got the whole vintage. I mean,
And
the
if-
whole catalog.
And there's
And
a
if
pool.
she wants,
Take her in the pool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the pool, and then the water slides. But what's also really great is that the kids clubs have movies playing all the time, and they have the Xboxes and the Nintendo Switches and the games and all of that. So all of that is offered in the kids clubs too. There was a time when my boys were too scared to go in there, and then when they finally went in there, then I couldn't freaking get them out. They didn't want to get out of there. My husband and I were like, okay, I guess we'll go have another drink at, on the adult only deck, pull
But
my
Kimmy-
leg.
Kimmy's daughter is older. And so even for Alyssa, there's just so many cool programs like that are all ages, that are all, oh gosh. I say we Disney cruise with Kayla, the Table for 5
Yes!
retreat.
That
Yeah.
would be amazing. Yeah. So the kids club, the oldest one, Club Vibe, that goes up to 17 years old. And then the other ones, it's from 3 to 11, and then from 11 to 14, and then 14 to 17. So there's 3 different clubs. And then if if your child is older, then there's definitely activities to do throughout the ship. Like they have, movie trivia. They teach you how to make the towel folding of the animals and all of that they do, that they do in the room. They have like animation workshops. They have food workshops, and there's an abundant amount of activities to do on the ship. But like I said, it's great and it's fun. But then when you need that decomposing time, you can just go back to your room and relax.
Mhm.
And it's so nice because it's right there.
And there's lots of food, which we love.
Oh,
We do
lots
love
of food.
food.
Never ending ice cream. Listen, if any of you guys go on a cruise, you got to bring your own refillable cup. You go fill
Yes.
it up with ice cream, and then go to the soda fountain and fill it up with your favorite soda. Put the lid on, get a straw, and take it to the Broadway show with you. And then you have a perfect
Hello,
root beer float or Coke float to go with
And
your
then on your
Broadway
app,
show.
right as you leave, you order room service warm cookies and cold milk, which then you can
Yep.
fill your kid's bottle and give the dad the cookie. Hello.
Yep, there you go.
I've been
Yeah.
on a diet way too long for this.
Okay.
You guys
I think
are
I'm
killing me right
excuse
now.
me.
Salivating
Well, I
a
go
little.
take Yeah, I need to go do my
Pavlovian effect over
sex
there.
in the shot right here.
I'm starving
Jamie.
after we're talking about French fries. Then we went to nacho fries. Now we're talking about
Nacho
milkshakes.
fries, Jesus.
Welcome to the table. This is a reason.
This is
Don't eat what we talk about.
60% of our
I need a
conversation.
permanent spot here, guys.
Yeah, great.
If you like
Wow.
food, you're really welcome at this table.
On Tuesdays, I do taste test Tuesdays with my boys. And so on my page on Tuesdays, we try different crazy foods, like different flavored
Yes.
peeps or, stuff like that. And then we post them on Tuesdays. So we're big foodies over here.
I love that.
Would you like to host a table?
Yes.
What's taking
Well,
you so
taste-
long, sweet Kayla?
A table
Oh.
taste test Tuesday.
Oh, love it.
Before we go, I know a lot of people, like I would love to Disney cruise and stuff all the time, but all this stuff is expensive. Do you help families
Right.
figure out like the cheapest options, payment plans, all that jazz? Is that something? you help
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So part of my quote form in the initial process is to make sure that we are staying on budget for you. So you give me a budget and then I will genuinely just be upfront and be like, hey, for what you want, the budget, it's a little bit more budget friendly than, what you're wanting, but this is what we can get for your budget. All budgets, no matter what it is, there is always something out there for you. It might not be the cruise line you want, but
I'll
or the
be in a
room that you
rowboat.
wanted. Whatever it is, there's a budget for everyone.
That's flying ever.
New.
That's fine ever.
Oh
That
my
was
God.
amazing.
Oh.
I can just picture.
I don't know why the Wi-Fi's not working.
That's what makes it so funny.
No drill, no mustard drill on there on the robot.
Neil in his accent, just so happy about the rowboat. Oh my gosh. That is
Oh
funny.
man, there's a budget for everyone. So many options.
There really is. It's just you just have to tweak it to different times and
Yeah, no, it just depends on what you're looking for, but I work with everybody just to let you know what's available. And I will, again, do the research for you to see which cruises are more in your budget or, what room types and all of that. So really, I work with everyone.
Do you have any knowledge about, I've been reading a lot about Myrtle Beach is now autism certified.
No, I haven't. Is that they're like a certified autism center?
Yeah, like, I don't know, the whole, I guess, town is. I know they work with
Okay.
a few different organizations, I think, that work with them.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go in
I'll
there.
have to look.
We'll go in there in August. I just was wondering.
Oh, I see
think
it. It says
Mesa's
here
like that
Myrtle
too.
Beach is an
Yeah.
autism-friendly vacation
cities.
destination.
Cities are now getting certified. Mesa,
Mhm.
I think outside of Phoenix,
which
I
is so
think
awesome.
2 years ago
Yeah.
became.
Well, it's like, I want to
autism
support
certified.
places that do that.
Mhm.
We're at the place that we don't necessarily need those accommodations because she's 26 and we've been traveling for a long time. I mean, obviously some of them, like the DAS pass and all that, if we go to Disney, we obviously do that just because of the insanity of Disney. But
Right.
it makes me just want to support places that do that just because of the fact that they're doing that. When she was younger, nobody did anything until she was
Right.
like 10, and then the stuff started coming out with like, if you went to a amusement park, you didn't have to wait in line and like stuff like that started coming out. So to me, it's like, I want to support places that do that, not beaches because I can't afford to go there. Places
that
that do
dinghy.
that because
Yeah.
I just think it's awesome that they do that.
Yeah, no, I can definitely, there's hundreds of places on the certified autism center list. I personally haven't had anyone go there yet, but it's funny that you mentioned that because I have a client right now traveling and she is going from Pennsylvania to Georgia and then back up to Pennsylvania, and they're stopping at certified autism centers along the way and then going back up, and that just happens to not be a place that they're doing. But I can always look into it and see if there's anything that I find. I think it's fantastic. And like you said, like if you can't go to beaches or something like that, it's nice to know that you have those areas around you that you can still visit, that are within
Yeah.
your location or your budget or or, whatever. You don't have to go to all these crazy places to get these accommodations.
If someone wants to plan this like ahead of time, like say we wanted to go to Disney World next year,
Mhm.
what would that look like financially for like a package payments if someone was trying to plan ahead of time?
Yeah, so that is something that I 1000% recommend is booking as soon as you can, because one, you're going to have like the best availability when it comes to like hotels and options for that.
Mhm.
And then two, like specifically for Disney, you only have to put down a $200 deposit to reserve your package. And then the rest is not due until 30 days before you arrive. And Disney does not have like a set monthly payment that you have to make. You can pay as little or as much as you want each month. You don't even have to make a payment each month.
That's
Just as
pretty
long as
awesome.
you put that, just as long as you put that $200 deposit down, and the rest is due 30 days before your arrival.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's great. They're
Kayla,
great.
where can people find you on social media and your website and all that good stuff?
So my website is specialkindofmagic.com. That is my blog. And then I also share, tips and resources there. And then my Instagram is at specialkindofmagic. You can find me there, and I love posting, like quick guides to certain things. I just posted a quick guide to airplane travel with special needs and the things that you can do before you fly to help you feel more confident while you're at the airport. And then also I share my family and our trips to Disney every week.
And
It's
Taster
Taste
Tuesday.
Test Tuesdays.
Taste
Yes.
Test Tuesday.
So it's fun. You guys will have to pop in tomorrow for our crazy peep taste testing. It's comical. You'll see
I'm
it and then you'll
gonna
go,
be
oh
there.
yeah,
Can you
it's
also do
comical.
some pizza? We'd like to see you have some pizza.
Okay, yep, you got it.
For us.
French fries of your
And
choice.
when the nacho fries come out,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do a
Yes.
special shout out for you
Yeah.
guys for that.
Yeah. Oh, please. Yes.
Tag the dieters
Oh, we
at
love that.
Table for Five.
People will
Yeah.
really be
After you eat.
confused about
A
Yes.
food podcast that isn't a food podcast.
We'll live vicariously through your vacations and through your eating.
Kayla, thank you so much. I feel like with
has been
your
awesome.
help, it feels accessible and it feels possible. And I just think it's so cool to find somebody that has all the resources. Like, hit print. Thank you. Like, that makes it feel possible.
and that
to
has
bring
a
our
special
kids.
needs child
Thank
yourself. So
you.
it's like you really understand the obstacles
Vetted.
Yes.
that people
Yes,
face.
thank you. I do get a little bit salty when I see people that are certified autism travel professionals and they're not special needs parents, because it's different. It is different. But then you can't be salty because they're genuinely trying to make an impact on this community as well, whether they're a special needs parent or not. So then I have to take the saltiness.
Girl, you don't
back.
have to be so humble. We're trying to get you the business and get that van wrapped. We don't have enough space for your license plate.
Thank you so much, Kayla.
Thank you, Kayla.
Kayla,
Yeah, it was
thank
great
you.
to meet you.
So nice meeting you guys.
We'll put all your links in the description of this episode. Go check out her website. It's super friendly. It looks really simple to get a quote and to contact her. And we're grateful for her. We need it. And it's grateful that you're making vacations possible for people like us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Get your kids out
Thanks
there,
so
people.
much.
Bye,
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you for joining us at the table for this episode. Check out the description to find where you can sign up for our newsletter, how to become a supporter, and find links to us individually. Join us next Monday for more, and while you wait, check out our content on Facebook and Instagram. If you are enjoying the podcast, please make sure to subscribe and rate and review us wherever you listen. To contact us, you can email us at tablefor5podcast@gmail.com. We can't wait to sit with you again.